I'm here with Tonia Hughes Kendrick. She's a singer, recording artist, a worship leader in the Twin Cities. She's opened for gospel stars like Fred Hammond and Dorinda Clark Cole. She's recorded background vocals for Mary J. Blige and performed at Lincoln Center. And in 2017, she received the McKnight Fellowship, Musicians Fellowship,
Yes.
and continues to seek out very surprising collaborations, such as with folk singer Larry Long, trumpet player Charles Lazarus, and Zorango Flamenco Dance Theater.
Yeah.
Tanya, yeah, welcome, and thanks for chatting. Thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. It's good to join you this morning.
Yeah, I know the last one is kind of funny because that's when I first got a chance to work with you at Zorango Flamenco on a project last year, which was fabulous.
Super fun.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. And we were in Florida in January. So it was January here. And it was sub-zero weather in Minneapolis and
yeah,
about 80 degrees where in Florida where we were. So that was so fun.
yeah,
A
yeah. We got to
great
go
retreat.
to Tallahassee, Florida, which you're right. It was basically like an artist retreat, just a week there to just develop new material and work on nothing but the art. So it was
Absolutely. It was
awesome.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
Got to do it again.
we have to. I know we had some plans with the artistic director at Zorango to do some kind of tour or some performances this fall, but clearly that can't happen at the moment. Like a
So
lot of things.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of things are being canceled as a result of this pandemic, and it's so unfortunate. So I'm looking forward to the day that we could all get together again and make some music together and
Hmm.
even love on one another, like hug each other. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's like
Oh my
that's so
God.
strange that these basic forms of human interaction and affection, like we can't really do outside of family members right now.
Right, right. I miss that. So I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to that day.
So it sounds like you are actually involved with a lot of musical projects right now, some of which are through your church for services, and some are recording projects, done virtually, of course. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
It's crazy because, well, interesting, I should say, how we have continued to be able to create music during this time. I think a lot of artists was just trying to figure out how will we continue to do what we do.
Hmm.
And so we've, as you mentioned, I'm a worship leader at St. Andrew's Lutheran Church in Matamidi. And what we've been doing, when this first hit, we were trying to figure it all out, but we all have the ability to record in our own homes. And so when this pandemic first hit, that's what we were doing. We were recording our worship set in our homes. We would upload all of that information to the engineer, and then he would in turn put it all together and play it through a video, put a video together and play it on the weekends at our regularly scheduled worship times. And
Hmm.
so it just worked out really well. Recently, I think the last 3 weeks, I believe we've been coming together as a worship team without any of the parishioners. We've been coming together to record, of course, practicing social distancing, but coming together and recording and pre-recording to play that over the weekend. So we're no longer doing it in our homes since the rules kind of let up a little bit. So we're able to come together and do that. So yeah.
That was
That's what
awesome.
I've been doing with the church. In terms of my personal ministry, I shouldn't say, I mean, that is my ministry as well, but
Hmm.
what I'm working on as far as personally, my project, I am recording my third album. I had to think about it. And I do have the ability to record at home. My husband's my producer. So we've just been creating music. We've been writing. We've been recording. In fact, I had a session last night. So just kind of getting some things done. We're in quarantine. I may as well get something done. So I'm
Hmm.
hoping to be done with that project hopefully the end of this year. But I don't know if I want to release it now. I don't know. Everything is kind of up in the air. So yeah.
Right. Can you? Is it totally top secret, or can I ask
No,
as
it's
you
not top
develop,
tier.
like how this new album is it a drastic departure from your previous albums and your single, or are you still figuring that out?
I'm still kind of figuring things out. So my sophomore, let me start from the very, very first project that I had. It's a hymn project. So all of those were very familiar hymns that I grew up on, hymns that my grandmother taught me and my mom taught me, and we sang in church. My second project was biographical. So it was songs that were about 10-year span of my life. So I had gone through a death with my late husband, and just things that I had experienced with during that time with my children, and how that had infected, Lord, how that affected us and impacted our lives at that time. And also through that, how God's hand was still faithful. So it was biographical in that
Mm.
sense. And now this project, I'm just writing and, just kind of seeing what happens. I don't really have a theme in mind. I'm just making music and we'll see how it all comes together. It's funny because, some of these things we bring them together and then we'll say, that doesn't really fit.
Mm.
Maybe we'll use that for something else. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That's fabulous that your husband Brian is not only a producer but also a fabulous drummer as well. So and
Absolutely. Yep. He's
I
he's drumming on all of my stuff. So
that's great. And
yeah. So we've been able to continue to make music. So it's been a blessing to do that.
now you recently released a single, "Don't Give Up," and I think you were telling me earlier that the recording was finished in 2019, but when the quarantine hit this year, you released a video with a lot of different people involved.
Yeah, quarantine video of my single "Don't Give Up." So yeah, that single was released in November of 2019, and I put it out there, and not many people really knew that I had released a single. And this year in March, when everything, when we were all in isolation, and I started thinking about that song, I'm like, this is a song that could really encourage some people during this time. I think as we are spending a lot of time alone, it could really mess with our psyche and mental
Hmm.
health and all sorts of things that we're not able to continue to do. And so I just wanted to, I don't, not re-release it, but just kind of put a different spin on it. And I invited some local artists to sing along, and we just put together this really cool video. And I got a lot of positive feedback about it. And it was just great. It was just turned out really great. And in fact, Susanna, she really, really, really spoke highly of it. And I really think it just encouraged a lot of people, especially during this time. So
Well,
something that we needed.
that's really good to hear. Yeah, because it is such an uplifting and like joyous song and video that you put out. And I think
Absolutely.
the first time I watched it, I was wondering like, are the other people involved in the video, are they singing on the recording, or
No,
who are the
not
background vocal parts on that track?
so on the track. Cornisha Garman sang with me. I sang as well on my back with my background vocals, and then Demarcus Green.
Hmm.
But only Cornisha was able to join me for the video in terms of who the original singers were. But Demarcus, I think he was busy doing something else, but making music, and even during quarantine, I'm like, y'all, if you busy right now, you just too busy. But anyway, I'm giving him a hard time. But yeah, I just what happened. The process of that was I just asked some friends to just, even if they're not singers. I just had my really close friends and family just sing along with the track, and I just wanted them to capture just some exciting moments, something that would encourage people, jump around, just do
Hmm.
something, have fun with it, and let's put this thing together and just encourage some people, during this time. And so that's what we did. I had my kids on there. I had my nieces and nephews. My mom, she's on there singing along or whatever. I just wanted people to express themselves during this time, in a way that would encourage people, as they're singing along to that track. And that's what we did. We captured some really cool moments and put it together. And yeah, it was really great to do that.
I think that's fabulous, and you're exactly right. It's like it's very timely that that comes out this year. With everything that's going on, because it is so hard right now to just maintain a community and stay social and be with other people outside of
Absolutely.
family, and just
Absolutely.
keep that hope alive that like we're gonna get through this. Not tomorrow, but it's gonna happen.
Right. It'll
And
happen soon. So
mhm.
yeah, that was a really fun process. So I don't know why I didn't call you. What in the
Oh,
world?
well,
Next time, okay?
I'll say I've sang on exactly one video, and it's not available to the public, so that's probably why. Even
Oh
if
my
I'm just
goodness.
lip syncing, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
No, it's fat. No, I kind of hear this a lot from other guitar players and people who are strictly instrumentalists that were kind of like just jealous vocalists in disguise because we
Really?
want to. A lot of us want to. A lot of us aspire to play our instruments more like a trained singer. More like the human
Ah,
voice. So,
right.
um,
Well, yeah. So next time we do a video, I have to have you, even if you lip sync or whatever. I want you
that would
on
be
that one. We'll have
great.
to do part two or something. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah. That's awesome. Um, who are some of the musicians or singers that are on your music playlist right now that you've maybe had a chance to check out during quarantine?
So right now I am listening to Tasha Cobbs. She's a phenomenal gospel singer. Tamala Mann. Who else is on my play? Oh, Leandria Johnson, Mary, excuse me. Just some of the a lot of great gospel artists right now that I'm really enjoying, and just buying more music of theirs now that I have so much time to really delve into, just listening and seeing what people are writing and singing about or whatever. So those are some people. And then I also listen to some R&B and a lot of local artists as well, like Darnell Davis. Darnell's a phenomenal musician and writer. He has some projects coming up as well. I think he has a release actually this weekend. It's
Hmm.
August almost. Oh my gosh,
I
that's
know it's
crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy. This year is flying. But yeah, local artists that I'm just trying to, support or whatever. So Darnell is one person that I've been listening to. Him and his group, The Remnant,
Mm.
and Kennedy Hurst. If you don't know of her, you will, because she is an amazing up and coming artist. She's only like 23, but she's phenomenal. And so, just supporting some local artists here, listening to their music, and again, just seeing what everybody's writing and singing about, what they're talking about. Yeah, especially during this time. Yeah.
Hmm. It sounds like Darnell has been a longtime collaborator as well, right? Or you've worked with him on a number of projects.
Absolutely. Darnell Davis used to be my late husband, his production partner. And when David died, my now husband, Brian Kendrick, they're production partners. And so I've been working
Oh.
with Darnell for years. In fact, I moved here in 95 from St. Louis, and joined a gospel group, Minneapolis Gospel Sound, in which Darnell was the keyboard player and producer of a lot of their projects. And so I've been knowing and working with him for 25 years. So
Mm.
yeah, he's been involved with my music from the very beginning.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Since the Casita project with Zerongo, which again was the first time that I've ever I've gotten to work with you and with Billy Steele. It just really it was great because it opened my eyes to a whole new to me musical world that was happening and is happening right here in the Twin Cities. And it's really strange that it's we live in these kind of disparate pockets of music and creativity, and oftentimes we don't intersect.
It's
So it
such
was.
an interest. It is really interesting because Minneapolis isn't really big at all, and our communities, though we have a lot of similarities, a lot of we do the same things, sing and act and all of that, but we don't intersect often.
Mhm.
So we're kind of separate, and so when we collaborated with that project, I think it was kind of a stretch for all of us because for me, I do a lot of what I would call I don't know, unusual collaborations. And for instance, I do a lot of collaborating with Larry Long, who is a folk singer
Hmm.
here in the Twin Cities. When you think about a folk singer and a gospel singer collaborating, you really don't think that combination would work, but it works somehow. And so when we got together, you, me, and Billy and Susanna,
Hmm.
me, a gospel singer, Billy, a gospel vocalist and gospel organist, and you, a flamenco guitarist, and Susanna, a flamenco dancer, you just don't think that combination would work. But
Hmm.
somehow we made magic. It was just beautiful what we came up with song wise, and the show that we put together. It worked somehow. So yeah, one of those things that just I really look forward to doing that again. So, and it stretched all of us because
Hmm.
I don't consider myself a great songwriter. I have written songs. I do write songs. In fact, I'm writing some things on this project. But that project that we pulled together, we just took a week to retreat, to come
Hmm.
together, to collaborate, to create, and we came up with some of the most beautiful melodies and lyrics, and just this fusion of flamenco and gospel and blues and all that, and it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. So
It's right. It seems like a lot of projects that bring very different musical traditions together can either
mhm.
be just fabulous and be greater than the sum of the parts, or can kind of conflict, or not
Right,
quite do justice to either. But I felt like this like really respected all the artistic traditions involved, like
absolutely,
and just brought everything together beautifully. And
absolutely. Can't wait to do it again.
I
The
know.
thing was, we had some things scheduled in the fall, and which we have to push back and postpone because of what we're dealing with. But we'll get together soon. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you done any of these kind of, I don't know what you'd call them, like drive-in concerts, where it's like the old drive-in movie theaters, but it's a show outside where people can be in their cars and be safe and socially distant.
I have not yet. We let's do it. Why don't you and I put together something and and do it? It seems pretty safe. I have some friends who just recently, I think, was at Crooners. Corey
Hmm.
Wong. I'm sure you're familiar with Corey. He's an amazing musician. He just had a couple of drive-in concerts at Crooners, where you just sit in your car and you listen to music, and you, like as you mentioned, it's pretty safe. But I haven't personally, been a part of any of that. That's something that I'm sure is going to happen. That's kind of the thing now.
Hmm.
So I would love to do something like that, but I haven't as of yet.
I'm curious how the sound was like. Did you have to open your windows to get the direct sound from the stage, or
I
when you
didn't.
were there?
Unfortunately, I had so much happening this past weekend,
Hmm.
which is when Corey was in concert, and I wasn't able to attend. But yes, I'm assuming that they just kind of, open their windows. It's not
Hmm.
really like a drive-in movie where you have to tune into a station or whatever. But yeah, you just let your windows down and just
I
enjoy
know.
enjoy the music. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Um, I'm kind of curious to see in the near future, how musicians locally are going to find creative ways of connecting, like you said, keeping their music communities alive and healthy, despite all the challenges right now.
Well,
Um,
technology is certainly booming right now. It's on a rise because you're able to pretty much do everything now virtually. And I think people are just exploring that. You have these Zoom meetings like we're doing now.
mhm.
You have virtual concerts over Facebook, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. There's so many different platforms now. And I think artists are just kind of exploring that and trying to figure out what's going to work best for them.
Mhm.
So, in fact, Sarah Renner and I, we do an annual Christmas concert, and we're discussing our options. As far as like what that would look like, what that would look like, what platform we'd use, and yeah. So
That's
technology
cool.
is definitely on the rise. Yeah.
I was just going to ask about Sarah. I saw a video that you and she collaborated on. Well, really, it was a service for your church,
Oh yeah.
and it was like so beautifully done as a video. I mean, it was like watching a live music video in terms of the
Oh wow.
production and just the audio and everything. It was like, wow, that's next level. That's a
well,
high bar.
Well, Sarah and I both are worship leaders at St. Andrews. She's actually the worship director, and I co-lead with her.
Hmm.
And again, we have been coming together once a week to pre-record services, and we have a videographer and an engineer who captures everything and puts it together and make us look and sound great. So
That's
it's
awesome.
been working well. Yeah.
And so, outside of your husband Brian, who's a producer and drummer on a lot of your projects, do you have, how musical is the rest of your extended family? Did you grow up in a household that was all music all the time?
Music is definitely a part of my family. My grandfather was a musician and singer. My aunt Vanessa, actually, my mother is the oldest of 10. All of them can sing except mom. I don't know what happened, but somehow it skipped my mother. And I'm a singer. My children sing. Yeah, so it definitely runs through the family. My oldest son, he is a musician. He moved to LA to pursue his music career. He's been there 4 years. He's phenomenal, and I'm not just saying that because he's my son, but he really is a child prodigy. He's been singing since he was one, and he's had opportunities like singing background vocals with Beyonce on her latest tour at uh, is it Coachella? Yeah,
Hmm.
and they made a documentary out of that, and he's a part of that. And so yeah, he's been doing really good. Then my daughter Lauren, it's interesting because Lauren always could sing. Her and my other daughter Jada, but they never wanted to sing. And Lauren went to college. She started college 3 years ago, and just all of a sudden started being interested in music. She started singing and writing and producing and all that, and now she's doing her own thing. She has recordings and everything. So
Hmm.
music is definitely in the family. Yeah.
That's fabulous. Yeah, and we
Yeah.
were we were kind of I was talking to Billy Steele earlier this week actually, and we were just talking about just that kind of telepathic connection that you get, um, especially growing up in a household with music, or if you have siblings that sing together. And when family
Right.
members all sing harmony together, it's this like you kind of get goosebumps sometimes.
Yeah,
So it's
Billy comes from one of those families as well. There's six of them, and all sing. They sing together. They have concerts all the time, and so I always try and support them because it's beautiful to just hear them and those harmonies. There's nothing like family harmonies. I don't know what it
hmm
is, but
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I'm an only child, and neither of my parents play an instrument, although they kind of grew up on '60s folk and rock music, and had a big
Really,
record collection. But like, we just had
they
a
don't
guitar. No, they
play.
don't.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Wow.
Um,
If you kind of research this, if you go back, far enough, you'll find somebody in your family who was a
Mm.
musician. I wonder.
Well, that's a
It,
good point.
yeah, you
Yeah.
should check out ancestry.com.
Mm.
I bet
Yeah.
you'll find.
I know my mom did when she was really little. She did play some organ in the church
See,
growing up, and my aunt takes flute lessons, and is involved with a lot of basically commissioning some composers to write new music. So there's definitely music, in the extended family. But Tonia, where online is the best place for people to go find your new single, "Don't Give Up," and all your recordings and other projects?
so all of my music is digital. Apple Music, iTunes, wherever
Hmm.
you could download music. So, and also on my website, if you're interested in going there, it's toniahughes.com, ToniaHuhes.com, toniahughes.com.
Perfect.
Of course, Facebook. Facebook it'll link you to my website as well as Instagram. So yeah,
Perfect. Yeah, I'll put links to all of that in the video for sure.
uh,
And
awesome.
anything that you're looking forward to after this pandemic craziness is all over? Like, what's the one
You
thing that you're just going to make a beeline for when we're done with all this?
you know, it's the strangest thing. I mean, restaurants are open now, but I really look forward to just having a decent meal at a restaurant without feeling like I'm unsafe. So it's the small things that I just really miss doing. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see you, glad to be able to do this.
Yeah, likewise, Tanya. This was fabulous to chat with you again, and I can't wait when we can collaborate in the near future, either via recordings or in person, hopefully.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Absolutely.
thanks so much for chatting, Tanya. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Ben. You too. Have a
Yeah,
good
you
one.
take care.